Well, Batman has the Batcave, Superman has his Fortress of Solitude, and me, the Menzoid, I've got the Menzoid Man Cave. It's where the men chill and the women thrill, and we just like to sit back, kick back, and relax, folks, and have a discussion, mano a mano. And today's guest is Gary McHale, president of CANACE. And Gary, for our viewers at home who might not be familiar with CANACE, what's CANACE?
CANACE is a group that was started in Caledonia. It stands for Canadian Advocates for Charter Equality, because we wanted to make sure everyone was equal under the law.
Now, of course, there has been great inequality under the law in Caledonia, but what is the situation right now? Is it safe to go there, or as the saying goes, are the natives still restless?
Well, after 6 years, it actually has started to change. Beginning of this year, the OPP arrested me 3 times within 2 months.
And what for, by the way, Gary?
Well, most of the time it was for just carrying a Canadian flag or standing on a road. I was arrested for trespassing while standing on a county road.
Now, wait a minute. You were carrying a Canadian flag. See, a lot of people might not be familiar with Caledonia, and you were arrested. In the meantime, there have been natives that have been physically assaulting people, vandalizing items, stealing cars, and the police have been turning a blind eye, correct?
For much of the crime, the police have done absolutely nothing. There's actually been 60 officers sent to the hospital, and the vast majority of those cases, they never even bother investigating them. But as of February this year, things started to change a bit. We were able to walk down some of the roads that we had been arrested on many times before. And usually the natives would come out and threaten us, and all of a sudden this one native woman picked up a pipe and tried to hit me with it. And for the first time in 6 years, the OPP actually met our arrest during the commission of a crime. For years, there's always been these splinter groups that won't accept their own leadership authority. They certainly don't accept Canadian government as leadership. And so, but so far for 5 years or 6 years, the McGuinty government and the OPP have made it sound like, you know, all natives support this occupation. And the truth of the matter, there's not much support at all. There's the same 1 or 2 dozen people who commit most of the crimes in Caledonia. And I think the OPP at the beginning of this year finally made a decision. If they just started arresting each one as they commit a crime, sooner or later they'd be done with the 2 dozen people and it would be back to peace.
By the way, Gary, I want to ask you too, do you think one of the factors in changing the behavior of the OPP is the fact that there's going to be new citizen arrest powers being enshrined in the law?
Well, I believe that that's starting to affect them, because we've made it clear for 6 years that we don't use violence. So in 6 years, if the natives punch me in the head, I don't respond. But we've kind of been telling the OPP for the last 6 months, we really don't have to be assaulted. We're allowed to make arrests. And now with the new laws starting on Sunday, we can make arrests. Even before someone assaults me, I can arrest a person because he's threatened me so many times in the past.
And certainly the McGuinty government has been disgraceful throughout this occupation by not having the law of the land enforced. The OPP, as you say, are changing their ways. But your group, Gary, as I understand, you are now focusing your sights on the electric company, Hydro One. What's your beef with the little old electric company?
Well, what a lot of people don't understand is the reason, I think the main reason the natives were allowed to commit so much violence in Caledonia is that there's a major electric grid running right beside the occupation site within a few hundred feet. And the McGuinty government has spent billions on this transmission lines. That's the tunnel that now goes across into the United States. The lines from Caledonia were supposed to go to the United States. They've never finished them. It's been stopped for 6 years. And so what happened is the natives took a lot of the hydro towers and actually used them to block the roads. And so there's 2 towers that have been on this road for now 6 years. And a year ago I informed the president of Hydro One, either you move it or you could be facing criminal charges because you're allowing your property to be used in a criminal act. We never really had any proof that Hydro One was consenting to this. We just figured the towers were stolen. But I got an official letter 2 weeks ago where Hydro One clearly tell me that they're in control of the towers, but the towers are on a road. That means Hydro One is consenting to their towers to be on this road blocking a road. So I gave them until July 1st for them either to move it or we will move it and we'll sue them.
Well, Gary, we're going to follow this story. For what it's worth, I think this is the most overlooked, underreported story in Canada and has been for 6 years, but it sounds like thanks mainly to efforts of your group, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. There's some progress to be made, and I hope you keep us up to date with the progress of this lawsuit, because we'd love to have you back here on the Man Cave, and hopefully it's a good news story.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And that was Gary McHale, president of CANACE, and keep it tuned right here. We'll be right back.